Okay. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأرضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم أخرجني من ظلمات الوهم وأكرمني بنور الفهم اللهم افتح علينا أبواب رحمتك وانشر علينا خزائن علومك برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. I am very happy and grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for being able to connect to you for such a great occasion, or actually occasions. We are these days remembering Lady Ma'asuma Salamullah alayha, and soon inshallah we are going to have the birth anniversary of Imam Rida alayhi salam. And also it's always a pleasure for me to be somehow connected to the Jami'at al-Zahra Salamullah alayha, a place that is always bringing to the mind. Salam.
آقای دکتر صدا نداریم.
صدا نیست؟
فکر میکنم هیچ کدوم از بچه‌ها و من صدا نداریم. حالا اگر صدای ما رو میشنوید به نظرم خارج میشید.
الان خوبه صدا؟
با هم جزء که خانم رسولی براتون فرستاد.
صدا میاد الان؟
بله الان خوبه.
خیلی. It's always a joy for me to be connected to the Jami'at al-Zahra Salamullah alayha, because not only it's a place for learning, which is always sacred, any place of learning is sacred, but it's also associated to Lady Fatima al-Zahra Salamullah alayha. And also, alhamdulillah, from the beginning it has been a place that many good sisters, sincere sisters, seekers of knowledge, seekers of light from all over the world have gone there for a study, so it has added to the sacredness of this place. So we are inshallah going to have a series of lectures on the ethics and etiquette of servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah would guide us and help us to have very useful and beneficial inshallah sessions. The topic is very dear topic to me, and I have been reflecting on this topic a lot, and I think this is the area that we all constantly need to work on, and that is how to achieve servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how to achieve ubudiyyah. And as you will inshallah see, ubudiyyah is the highest level that we can reach and the highest degree that we can rise to, and it is much more than worshipping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In the session today, I would like to refer to Hadith of Unwan al-Basri, but very quickly. We had few sessions on this hadith before in a retreat in Montreal, and alhamdulillah that's available online. So those who are interested to know more about this hadith, we have had I think 3-4 sessions on this hadith. But today I want to have very quick and brief review of this hadith, and inshallah in the coming sessions we will refer to other passages from du'as and from hadith, because I think the best way is to rely on the sayings of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, and I don't want to have too much theoretical or technical discussions. I would like just to review together sayings of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam, along with some explanations, along with some kind of contemplations that I might have to share with you. So this hadith, as you know, it is very much highly regarded by our ulama, and it is said that the late Ayatollah Sayyid Ali Qadhi Tabatabai, who was the spiritual teacher of Allama Tabatabai and Ayatollah Bahjat and many people, used to say that you should write down this hadith and often read it and remind yourself of this hadith. So therefore, I would also request, if our sisters who are in Qom or other places who know Arabic, write this hadith, the part that I will mention from there inshallah later, and when you write it with your handwriting, it has a special barakah. Even don't type it, just try to write it if possible, if you know, with your hand, and in this way your soul and these letters will be somehow combined, and when you look at it, it would remind you of your personal experience with these words. So Allama Majlisi Rahmatullah Alayhi in Biharul Anwar, volume 1, page 224, he says, وجدت بخط شيخنا البهائي قدس الله روحه ما هذا لفظه. Allama Majlisi says, I found this with the same handwriting of Sheikh Bahai Rahmatullah Alayhi, and then from this point on is what Sheikh Bahai had written down. قال الشيخ شمس الدين محمد بن مكي نقلت من خط الشيخ أحمد الفراهاني رحمه الله عن عنوان البصري. Finally it reaches Unwan al-Basri. Who was Unwan al-Basri? Unwan from city of Basra. We know that he was a very old person, because it says وكان شيخا كبيرا قد أتى عليه 94 سنة. He was a very old person. He had already reached year 94. He was 94 years old, and he was a person that used to go to Malik ibn Anas for 2 years. كنت أختلف إلى مالك ابن أنس سنتين. So for 2 years he used to go to Malik ibn Anas and take a spiritual direction. فلما قدم جعفر الصادق المدينة اختلفت إليه. When Imam Sadiq alayhi salam came to the city of Medina, or to the city, maybe he is referring to a particular city, because Imam Sadiq alayhi salam was in Medina always, so maybe after a journey Imam came back to the city of Medina, or maybe it's when Imam visited the city that this person was there. So he says, I went to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. It seems that he was not a Shia, because he says قدم جعفر الصادق. So he says, I wanted to go and benefit from him as I used to benefit from Malik ibn Anas. أحببت أن آخذ عنه كما أخذت عن مالك. So he wanted to have both teachers, both instructors. So he says, I went to Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. I say Imam. So he says, I went to Ja'far ibn Muhammad, and he told me, إني رجل مطلوب ومع ذلك لي أوراد في كل ساعة من آناء الليل والنهار. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, according to this narration, said, I am a person that is very much wanted. I'm always on, demand. Many people ask me questions, come to me, they need my, help. So I am very busy with the things that people want me to do. And I also have my own regular invocations that I have to make. لي أوراد في كل ساعة من آناء الليل والنهار. In every portion of the day and night, I have to do certain zikrs. So فلا تشغلني عن وردي وخذ عن مالك. Don't make me, preoccupied and distract me from my own invocations. Take from Malik. You have a teacher, you are happy with him, just continue. Especially, you must remember that Imam Sadiq alayhi salam didn't want maybe to interfere with what Malik was doing. Malik was the leader of, a group that, of course, maybe at that time was not still yet very developed, but later became, Maliki, a school of fiqh. And also, it's better if a person takes a spiritual direction only from one person at each time. General instructions, you can benefit from different scholars, but when it comes to a specific mentorship, so it's better to be with one person. So Imam said, khudh an Malik, take from Malik, means continue with him. واختلف إليه كما كنت تختلف إليه. In the same way that you used to visit him, اختلاف means going and visiting. Go and visit him again. He says, فاغتممت من ذلك. I became very sad. Who says this? Unwan al-Basri. He says, I was very sad. وخرجت من عنده وقلت في نفسي. I left him and said to myself, لو تفرس في خيرا لما زجرني عن الاختلاف إليه والأخذ عنه. If he had seen something good in me, if with his farasa is a way of looking at things, especially individuals, and understanding something deep in them. For example, we have this hadith, اتقوا فراسة المؤمن فإنه ينظر بنور الله. Be very careful about farasa of mu'min. Don't ever let yourself to think of deceiving mu'min or hiding from mu'min your bad intention or maybe your bad actions, because mu'min looks with the light of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's very difficult to deceive a mu'min. Maybe mu'min doesn't say anything. Maybe mu'min pretends that he didn't understand. But you cannot deceive him or hide him, anything from him. So, he says, لو تفرس في خيران. I told myself, if Imam Sadiq had seen something good in me, he would not have refused to help me and stop me. He would not have stopped me going and visiting him and taking from him. It is good that he didn't develop any dislike for Imam alayhi salam, because unfortunately sometimes people in such circumstances, they would just say, oh, he was not a good person, why he didn't accept me. So they try to bring lots of excuses for themselves and criticism for that person. But he was a nice person, and he really knew Imam Sadiq alayhi salam is a person that would not do things without reason. So he said that I told myself, if he had seen anything good in me, he would not have prohibited me visiting him and taking from him. فَدَخَلْتُ مَسْجِدَ الرَّسُولِ وَسَلَّمْتُ عَلَيْهِ. I went to the masjid of the Prophet in Medina, and this shows that it was in the city of the Medina. وَسَلَّمْتُ عَلَيْهِ. And I said salam to the Prophet, and perhaps he made some dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you want a good teacher, if you want a mentor, ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, look for it, but you must also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and pray hard to Allah to give you. ثم رجعت من الغد إلى الروضة وصليت فيها ركعتين. Then again I went back tomorrow to the masjid of the Prophet and I said 2 rak'ah salat and said to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, أسألك يا الله يا الله أن تعطف علي قلب جعفر. Oh Allah, please, please make the heart of Ja'far ibn Muhammad kind and affectionate towards me. وترزقني من علمه ما أهتدي به إلى صراطك المستقيم. And please enable me to have my rizq, my sustenance, spiritual sustenance from him, and that is by telling me what I can be guided towards your right path. وَرَجَعْتُ إِلَى دَارِي مُغْتَمًّا. I went back to my home and I was sad. وَلَمْ أَخْتَلِفْ إِلَى مَالِكِ بْنِ أَنَسٍ لِمَا أُشْرِبَ قَلْبِي مِنْ حُبِّ جَعْفَرٍ. Then I stopped visiting Malik ibn Anas because my heart was given so much of love for Ja'far ibn Muhammad that I no longer had interest in anyone else being my teacher, being my instructor. فَمَا خَرَجْتُ مِنْ دَارِي إِلَّا إِلَى الصَّلَاةِ الْمَكْتُوبَةِ حَتَّى عِيلَ صَبْرِي. He says, I didn't go out except for Salat al-Wajib. I went to masjid for Salat al-Farida, Jami'at, and didn't go anywhere else. Just kept staying at home to the extent that I felt pressurized. I felt too much pressure on my chest, and then I said, let me go and visit Ja'far ibn Muhammad again. So I put on my shoes and my rida, my cloak, and went to see Ja'far ibn Muhammad. And this was after I said Salatul Asr. فَلَمَّا حَضَرْتُ بَابَ دَارِهِ اسْتَأْذَنْتُ عَلَيْهِ. When I reached his home, I asked for permission to meet him, and then his khadim, his servant, came out and said, what do you want? I said, Assalamu ala Sharif. I want to say salam to the noble person in this house. The servant said, Huwa qa'imun fi musalla. He is standing up for prayer in his place of prayer, and basically he's busy with his ibadah. So he said, I sat there, and it didn't take that long that the servant came back and said, Udkhul ala barakatillah. What a beautiful expression. Udkhul ala barakatillah. Enter. So he was granted permission to enter the house of Imam and visit Imam alayhi salam. And he says, I went and said salam to Imam. Imam replied to my salam and said to me, Ijlis, ghafarallahu lak. What a beautiful way to begin the conversation. Not only Imam allowed him to enter, Imam also asked him to sit. Because sometimes maybe you go next to the door to see what the person wants and finish the job. Sometimes the person comes and just when standing you quickly answer and the person goes. But Imam was so kind that asked him sit, and also said Ghafarallahu lak, may Allah forgive everything, that's any shortcoming, anything that you had. This was a beautiful dua at the beginning. He says, فَجَلَسْتُ فَأَطْرَقَ مَلِيًّا ثُمَّ رَفَعَ رَأْسَهُ. I sat, then Imam alayhi salam bent his head, and after some time he raised his head and told me, Abu Man, what is your kunya? How are you called? I told Abu Abdullah. In the same way that the kunya of Imam Sadiq was Abu Abdullah, he was also Abu Abdullah. Then Imam alayhi salam said, Thabbatallahu kunyatak wa waffaqaka ya Abu Abdullah. Imam said, may this kunya, this nickname, be true for you. May this materialize. May you really be father of a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah give you tawfiq. So Imam took this very seriously, because unfortunately sometimes these names and titles and nicknames become just formality. We never think about them. We never think, is my name, is my kunya, my title, nickname, is it really something that match me or not? If, for example, my name is Sadiq, am I truthful or not? If my name is, I don't know, for example, Baghir, is it that I am a person who is very knowledgeable and can split the hair when it comes to scientific discussions or not? So then Imam alayhi salam said, Ya Aba Abdullah, ma mas'alatuka, what is your question? And mentioned him by his name. Unwan al-Basri says, I told myself, لو لم يكن لي من زيارته والتسليم غير هذا الدعاء لكان كثيرا. He says, I told myself, if it was not that more than this, that he made this dua for me, that ثبت الله كنيتك ووفقك, it was enough for me. Then Imam alayhi salam again asked him, Ma mas'alatuka, what is your question? What can I do for you? He says, I told Imam alayhi salam that I ask Allah to make your heart soft and kind with me and give me from your knowledge, and I hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has answered to my dua. Then Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said this. So from this part, it's good if you write down, at least from this part, with your own hand on a nice paper, and read it or keep it in front of your desk, so that inshallah you will keep reminding yourself of this beautiful hadith. Imam alayhi salam said, Ya Aba Abdullah, laysa al-ilm bit-ta'allum. Knowledge is not a matter of learning. إنما هو نور يقع في قلب من يريد الله تبارك وتعالى أن يهديه. Knowledge is light that occurs in the heart of those that Allah wants to guide. In some versions we have يَقْذِفُهُ اللَّهُ فِي قَلْبِ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. We have in some hadith that Allah projects. So in any case, either yaqa or yaqdhif, what is important is knowledge is a kind of light, and you know light can only be in the heart. Light cannot be seen in mind only. It has to be from heart. Yes, maybe sometimes the light is so much in the heart that illuminates mind as well. Illuminates our hand, our tongue, our ear, our feet, everything. But there is no way, it's a very important point, there is no way that I lack light in my heart and then my mind has light. My ears have light, my eyes have light. It's impossible. In every person, the origin of light is the heart. And from there, it can spread, not vice versa. Okay. Knowledge is not a matter of learning. Even if you have a great teacher, even if you have Imam Sadiq as your teacher, it's not enough. Say, I have great teacher, I go and take lessons from him. There were thousands of people in Medina who were learning from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam, did everyone acquire light? No. There were many people who were listening to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Did everyone acquire light? No. Maybe many people learned, but not that everyone got light. Forget the people who didn't learn anything. I'm talking about even the people who learned, who became themselves maybe scholars. Maybe they had lots of teachers and students and they had their own circles. But did everyone get light? No. This is what we Talaba have to always remember. We seekers of knowledge, we have to always remember. Without knowledge, we are nothing. So we should not underestimate learning. We should not underestimate conventional methods of learning. It's very wrong, and unfortunately some people make this mistake. When they read hadith like this, they say, okay, so we shouldn't, bother that much with learning. We just go and take some lessons, but we spend more our time on dhikr, on contemplation, on ibadah, on spirituality, because Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said, لَيْسَ الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ, or in some versions, لَيْسَ الْعِلْمُ بِكَثْرَةِ التَّعَلِّمِ وَالتَّعَلُّمِ. Knowledge is not a matter of learning or matter of, abundant learning and teaching and seeking, through conventional methods. Knowledge is a light. So some people say, okay, then it's not that important that we spend our time on attending classes, reviewing, doing mubahasa, taking notes, taking exams, then teaching other people, reviewing. No, we just do a little, something minimal, but we invest more on a spiritual side. No, this is not the meaning. You need to do as much as you can with learning. But you must know that this is not enough. You should not take the means instead of end. But at the same time, you should not forget the means. Our life as talabe, as we say in Farsi, talabegi. And talabegi is not just to be in the hawzah. Talabegi means a life which is built around learning and teaching and sharing. Maybe sometime, inshallah, in future we talk about what does it mean to be talabe. But our life as talabe cannot be without having knowledge as a point of focus. We would certainly need to learn. How can we help other people without ourselves learning? And how can even you help yourself without knowledge? But knowledge starts with reading, taking notes, memorizing, taking exam. But this is not the end. This is just a step. This is just a means, an instrument. The acid test is in the end of the day, do you feel that light in your heart or not? Unfortunately, some people are too proud of themselves that they quickly feel there is light in their heart. But I have 2 points for them. Something for themselves to check and examine themselves, something through others we use. If you have light in yourself, if after years of studying and being in the hawzah, if you have achieved light in your heart, has that light made you able to enjoy your salat? Has that light made you able to enjoy your private moments with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Has that light made for you sacrificing your interests and convenience easy? Has that light made you able to make decisions which involve your own sacrifice, or at least your compromise about your pleasure easy? If yes, then you have light. Otherwise, you don't have light. We should not deceive ourselves. But there is also another way. Have people who don't, fear you, because maybe people are somehow fearing me, or they have some hesitation. They say, you are a very good person. You have, mashallah, lots of light, because they are worried that if they don't say like this, maybe, for example, I dismiss them. But people who don't fear me, or I am not a frightening character, I am very comfortable with people, and people are very comfortable with me, are they also able to recognize this light in you? Are people without that much acquaintance with you come to this recognition that you have light? If so, then inshallah there is a chance that there might be light. So, we as talabe must not be satisfied with our studies unless it leads to that light in our heart. But we should not also underestimate our studies. That is the step towards that. If you want to have enduring light, and something that would not be challenged by difficulties of life, and also if you want that light to be strong enough to help other people and provide them with light, the only way is to add to your understanding and knowledge. It's possible for a person who is not alim, who is not knowledgeable, to have light, but to be able to have it in an endurable way and to help other people, you need knowledge. You need good amount of knowledge. Or at least you need to be in the state of learning and be talibul ilm, at least be seeker of knowledge. Maybe it takes time to become alim, but it doesn't take that much time to at least put yourself in the list of the seekers of knowledge. And in this way, you get all the benefits that seekers of knowledge get. And I only mention one. إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ بُغَاةَ الْعِلْمِ. Allah loves the seekers of knowledge. So, Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, لَيْسَ الْعِلْمُ بِالتَّعَلُّمِ. Knowledge is not a matter of learning. It doesn't mean learning is not important, learning is not needed, learning is irrelevant. No. It means that it's not just a matter of learning. In other words, the end, the aim is not just learning. إِنَّمَا هُوَ نُورٌ. Knowledge is light that comes to the heart of the people that Allah wants to guide. So we need knowledge for guidance. We need knowledge for light of guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So what should I do? I know that I should study. I should, find good teachers and take lessons from them. But parallel to that, what should I do? فإن أردت العلم فاطلب أولا في نفسك حقيقة العبودية. If you want knowledge, you must first, أولا, you must first seek in yourself the reality of servitude. Try to be a servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Only a servant of Allah get that light from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because if Allah gives that light to someone who has not reached the level of servitude, there is no match, there is no similarity. You cannot give a means for piety and guidance to someone who is vicious, for someone who is selfish, someone who is self-oriented and self-centered, someone that whatever he gets, he's going to misuse and just use it for his own benefit. You cannot give them light of guidance. It's impossible. It's not that, they are not just given. It's impossible. There is no match. There is no similarity. Spiritual gifts are not like physical gifts. Physical gifts, you can give, money or, I don't know, any gift to any person. I can give money to the people that I like or people I don't like, people who are good or people who are bad. It doesn't make difference. I can give to all of them. But spiritual gifts like knowledge, like insight, like hikmah, wisdom, cannot be given to every person. And this is why we always say, when it comes, for example, to the issue of isma, we say it is a mawhaba, it's a gift, but this gift is not arbitrary. It cannot be given to everyone. Light also cannot be given to everyone. You need to be servant. Then وَاطْلُبِ الْعِلْمَ بِاسْتِعْمَالِهِ. The next thing is that you have to put it into practice. So be a servant, but also a servant who is practicing, because a servant, it's impossible not to do anything for his master. A servant would do whatever he can according to instruction of master, especially when master only is asking you to do good to yourself and others. وَاسْتَفْهِمِ اللَّهِ يُفْهِمْكَ. Ask Allah for understanding, and Allah will make you understand. So you need dua and tawassul, you need practice, and you need to acquire servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then he says, I told him, Ya Sharif. Imam said, don't say Sharif. قلت يا شريف فقال قل يا أبا عبد الله. Tell Abu Abdullah, don't say Sharif. Of course, Imam doesn't say don't say Sharif. He says tell Abu Abdullah. It means that don't say this, and Abu Abdullah is enough and more than enough for me. قلت يا أبا عبد الله ما حقيقة العبودية. What is the reality of servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? I wanted to finish it today so that we go to other hadiths, but it is so beautiful that I didn't want to rush. So inshallah we continue with this hadith next week bi'iznillah. And now if there are any questions, inshallah I can take them. Otherwise, inshallah, you can send your questions for the next session, inshallah. Is there any question? Okay, we don't have any question on YouTube, and okay, so it seems there is no question, or I am not seeing them. But if I miss any question, so please the admin put them and keep them so that for the next session I will make sure that I would answer them. I pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give all of us tawfiq for being a student of Islam, a student of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. I ask Allah to put barakah in your pursuit of knowledge and search for knowledge, and give you that light that Allah gives to those servants of Him who truly seek knowledge and act upon their knowledge and share their knowledge. May Allah be with you. التماس دعاء في أمان الله.